Thanks for coming out. I thought it was a good opportunity here with the bye week and the trade deadline yesterday, just to really talk about the roster right now, take you into a little bit of the inside in terms of the decisions we've made, and just about the team in general. And right now, the results aren't good enough right now, and we understand that. And we understand the frustration, with the fan base. And we know that we have to earn back the trust of this fan base. One of the things that was, really appealing to me when I took this job was the passion that this fan base has. Coming in here as an opposing team, you could feel that passion, that it meant something to the community. To families here, and I always said if I'm going to go somewhere, I want to make it impactful, and it's great to be in a place where people care about the team, and I've been here, close to a year now. I have young kids, they're in school, and I've got to meet a lot of people in the community, and I feel their passion and I feel their frustration right now, and but we are doing everything possible right now to get this right, to fix it. And we will. I believe we will at the end of the day. And with all the negativity that comes along with losing, it's hard to see any positive signs. But there are positive signs. I want to really thank the coaches right now and the players. For their work ethic every day and energy that they come in with every day to get better here, despite the losing. I've been around places where, we're having a tough season like this, and it's hard to come to work, and I don't feel that here. And I think the coaches, let's be real, this is a tough situation for them right now. They moved their families here. They want to come here to win, and we haven't done that yet. And but they come to work every day, and their willingness to work with younger players here to develop them, and I think they have developed them. I want to highlight the rookie class that we have. I think it's a special class. I really do, and not just because I was a GM who picked these players, but I do feel like it's a special class, and it's a class that we can build upon. They represent everything that we want in a Titan. From day one, they stepped in this building. Their work ethic, their passion, their drive to get better, and they are getting better right in front of our eyes. And they're all playing, and they're developing. And that's going to help us through the next 8 games here and into the future. We're in constant evaluation mode here with players, with staff, and that comes, with players. It might be talent, it might be scheme fit. It might be culture fit. The word culture gets thrown around there a lot. So what do you mean by that? Well, it's the habits that we want to have with our players to create a winning culture here. It's the team first mentality. It's the accountability piece. It's the attention to detail piece. It's their willingness to work and get better every day. So that's what we're looking for when we evaluate these players. And I know the first trade we made with Jarvis Brownlee was I'm aware of it. It was controversial around here because he's a young player that was ascending, and you're evaluating the fit. And without getting into a lot of details, I like Jarvis, and I think he's going to be a really good player in this league. We don't have the culture right now sometimes to help guys develop right now. And, we thought at the time, just some of the habits weren't conducive to building the culture right now. And I know it's hard to understand because he's a young player, and I wish Jarvis nothing but the best. The Roger McCreary trade, Roger, love Roger. Teammates love him. You can tell they love him. Roger's a good player. It's part of the strategy when you're looking at the roster and evaluating the market in terms of, he's in an expiring contract. and what's it going to look like next year. And that's the piece when you draft and develop players too, that you have guys coming in here. It had nothing to do with, because I didn't draft Roger. It has nothing to do with that. We found there was some interest with Roger, and it happened to be the Rams, who had owned our 5th round pick from a prior trade, and so we thought that was good value for us. We were in the draft, we were missing that 5th round pick, so we had a 4th round pick, which was at the beginning of the 4th, and then we had our 6th round pick, which was the beginning of the 6th. So that's about an 80 spot move if the draft had happened that day. So we thought that was good value, really just getting that pick back, and that's the reason why we did it. Draymond Jones, love Draymond. He was really coming on here the last 4 or 5 games, and I think that's why a lot of teams have called on him. We weren't looking to move on from Draymond right now, but we also have to think about the future of this program and where we're at. And we had a chance to acquire a pick that from Baltimore that could be a high pick in the 5th and potentially could turn into a 4th round pick. So let's hope the Ravens go to the playoffs and Draymond has 2 more sacks and we get a 4th round pick out of it. He looks like a rookie quarterback playing on a team that had the number 1 pick last year, and he is he's developing, and he's developing with a lot of other rookies too as well, right? So we have 2 rookie wide receivers out there playing, Jim and Elliott. We have Gunnar playing out there. So they are learning together, and they're only going to be better because of it. And I have full confidence that Cam, because of his work ethic, because of his drive, that he will fix things that he needs to fix, just like every quarterback in this league, though. And I have full confidence that he's going to get there.
You promoted.
A great job holding everything together here under the circumstances, Paul. Really. And Denard is a hell of a coach. And I have conversations with Denard all the time. And before we made these trades, it's not like we make these trades and don't have conversations. And he is he going to agree on all the trades? No, but I think at the end of the day he understands it, and he understands that he has a job to do. But you say you got a job to do, that's your responsibility to do the job. But his willingness to still do the job is why he's a good coach.
When you
that has some really good moments, really high level throws, and once he puts everything together with some consistency, which I think he will. But he's been impressive. His leadership's been impressive. Like I told you, the whole group's been impressive in terms of leadership. Kevin, coming off the ACL, basically under a year, and then we got him back out, had a little setback, but he's starting to play and come on, and you see flashes of it. His speed, his athleticism, and then 3 guys we took in the 4th with Alec and Chim and Gunnar have all contributed, and DK I think leads the league in all-purpose yardage right now. Punt return he had the other week. You talk about a dependable player now. That's what he exemplifies. And Gunnar you've seen in flashes. He's going to be a really good. A good question. And it's a fair question. And with Chad, I can go back to when we were in Kansas City. There was a few of us that were on that staff there that ended up being 2-14. I think that 2012 year. It was myself, Ryan Poles, Brant Tillis. Ryan Poles is the GM now. It's Bears. I'm here. Brant Tillis is a VP of operations with the Carolina Panthers. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, even though there's we were losing at the time, there's still really good people in the organization. I get the question, I do. And Chad is invaluable to me. Chad hired me, Amy hired me to really construct the roster. That's what they hired me for. And they empowered me to do that. And what Chad does is, he has knowledge in scouting. He's got knowledge in the salary cap, strategy. Chad is really smart. And Chad supports me with all the decisions that I make. And it's no different in every other organization. You can say the titles and who's above who. It's the same structure in every organization. You got the GM, you have your VP of strategy, cap, and then you get the head coach. And whatever title we want to give them, those are the three people that work together to make decisions. And there's no one person that he's got the 53. I'm going to go rogue and just make a pick. But they empowered me to make those decisions here. To draft players, to sign players, to construct the roster. So fair question. I get it, Jared. But just to give you a little insight on that. How much all those options? But a lot of the guys that are inspiring deals have done some good things here. So we'll continue to evaluate them and to see if they're a fit here for the future. So we still have 8 games, a lot of games left here to evaluate them.
You talked about
what did Mike Tyson say? Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? But yeah, I mean, there's a plan for him, and the plan right now is for him to still develop, and he has been developing. And I give credit to Nick and to Bo and to Mike on his development. That's part of it, the development plan. Now, will the offense change next year? Maybe. But in terms of the fundamentals and mechanics, understanding how to play the position, I think we have some really good coaches here to develop them. We're starting free agent meetings here in early December, but we've been watching the free agents and building a board similar to a draft board with free agents in the league and trying to figure out their market value and trying to figure out our needs at the end of the season. So all that goes into it. Yeah, so those discussions going on right now, Paul.
How much can you do there realistically, given what reaches market at the prime positions where you need help?
Yeah, we can do. We have a lot of cap space, and like I said, we're gonna have to. That's why it's hard when you have the philosophy. You have to stay disciplined to it too, Paul. And we use free agency really to. You have to fill the roster and you have to be competitive at the same time. But in the future, we want to draft and develop these guys. But there will be opportunities to, if we see a player that deems that it's going to help us and we're thin at the position, we're going to attack it.
So is there a way to do both of those things? Be a draft and develop team, not want to try to buy a roster, do the thing in free agency we see teams do and fail to do, but still have so much money you have to spend?
Yeah, there's a balance to that. Right? There is a balance because you have to see where the locker room's at, how many young players you have on your roster at the time. And in my, experience, and listen, there's all different ways to build a team. I'm not knocking anyone else on how they build their team. It's just our philosophy. It's built through the draft, and there's going to be opportunities to supplement players when you feel you have to. But you certainly want to be, having your roster consist of more younger players with a drafting to really build the culture you want.